Greetings, welcome to Jefficho Films. Today we're going to talk about a 1995 horror movie done by director Stuart Gordon, who did Robot Jox, which was pretty sweet, Re-Animator, From Beyond, which I want to get to, The Fortress with Christopher Lambert, any movie with Christopher Lambert. I tell you, it's pretty good. And then after this, he went on to do Space Truckers, which doesn't surprise me. You know, that had Dennis Hopper with a lawnmower penis. He had to, rev it to get it going. Don't ask. Don't watch it. Stephen Dorff, though. Right after Blade, had to give it a shot. Anyways, let's review this movie with Jeffrey Combs. Who doesn't love Jeffrey Combs? Castle Freak. The movie starts out with an old woman who's the Duchess feeding her cat, and then she slices up some stale food, walks out to the castle, goes to the dungeon, and says hello to Giorgio. Could have just gave him his food. She's getting too old for this. I think she's got a heart condition. She manages to get back to her bed just in time to die. And I think a few days later, somebody must have found her. And then we roll credits. Giannetti is driving John Riley, his wife Susan, and his daughter Rebecca to the castle he's inherited. It was built 700 years ago, and oh shit, Rebecca is blind. That doesn't bode well. John wants to liquidate it all, but he needs a full inventory. Susan asks Agnes, who's Giannetti's sister and the housekeeper at the castle, to make a separate room for John, because they ain't sleeping together. You know, if a divorce is on the horizon, it's a shame you didn't inherit this castle afterwards, John. Later that night, John comes by Susan's room because he misses her. It's been 9 months since he had a drink, but she isn't interested.
Stop it!
It's been 9 months.
I know.
I haven't touched a
I
drop.
know, you've been very good, and I know that I should try to forgive you, that I should want to forgive you, but I can't.
Then he has a dream flashback of when he was driving his kids drunk, and I think his son JJ didn't make it. And then he wakes up and he hears a moan, and then goes to investigate. Why does he think it's his son JJ? He's dead. John finds a wine cellar with a bottle dated 1952. That's gotta be some good shit. But he fights his inner demons and he breaks it, but he also cuts his hand. So he goes to the kitchen and cleans it, where he runs into Agnes, who tells him a story of Giorgio, the Duchess's son, who died when he was 5 years old. Sure he did.
Samita, they say she took revenge and killed his son.
Jesus. It was her son too.
Yeah, it's against nature, against God.
Yeah, that's one possibility. The other being that there's a deranged psychopath in your dungeon just waiting to get released to kill. Next day, John takes Rebecca around and does an inventory, and then he finds this chained whip with spikes. It's pretty cruel looking, but actually kind of cool. Bex can hear some scratching, but John is enamored in the photo book, so she wanders off, and we get a cat scare. Now Bex is following the cat. Don't do it. It knows the way to the dungeon, where she hears some noises, and she slips and falls and cuts her knees. Her dad does eventually find her, and the cat finds the cage and wanders in and gets taken and eaten by Giorgio, which gives him newfound strength. Giorgio rips off his thumbs to get free. I mean, makes sense. It's what you would do. Bex tells her parents that there's someone else in the castle, but they won't believe her. Don't worry, Bex. They will soon enough. And then Giorgio manages to find a mirror, and he's a bit deformed, and then he breaks it, and they hear it. Bex is asleep that night, and Giorgio wanders by and takes off her sheet, and she wakes and screams. And Giorgio runs off, and her parents run in.
Who's there? Who are you?
John chases after the sound of chains, but Giorgio pretends to be furniture covered in a white sheet. Then John finds a cell. He doesn't see the cat, but he sees the family tomb. So he goes there and sees Giorgio's tomb, and there's a picture on there that he thinks looks like JJ. And the cops come by the next day, and they don't believe him, and the picture's gone.
You were the one who was driving that car, drunk. You blinded Becky. You killed our son.
So what's left? You just punishing me?
Yes, because God didn't. He just let you walk away without a scratch.
Susan and John fight, and did she just admit she's only there to punish him because God didn't? That's cold. Even after everything that happened. So a little bit disheartened, John goes to the bar and gets drunk. And the cop sees him talking to a prostitute, and he's a little bit clumsy. And the cop goes up to him and politely tells him he should go home to his family. And he kinda listens when he takes the prostitute back to the wine cellar.
me.
Giorgio comes by to watch, and if he's been locked up since he was 5, I think he's about to get an education you wish he didn't get. I can't tell if John finished quickly or stopped because he felt guilty, but he pays her and she leaves. Giorgio takes the bottle over his passed out hands, the one with his fingerprints I might add, and he goes and he kidnaps the prostitute and locks her up in the cell. The cops come by the next day and try to be discreet, but Susan's not having it, and he's not cooperating.
I'm not going to answer any questions until I talk to my lawyer.
You brought a woman here.
I was lonely.
So Giorgio's got her chained up in his little love dungeon, and he does what he learned last night, except she's fighting him, so he bites off, well, parts of her. And John goes to see Giannetti, and he says not to worry. Giannetti wants to up his rates, and John complains that's blackmail, but dude, you're gonna get so much money from this place. Back at the castle, Agnes hears the comforting screams of a prostitute and goes down to the dungeon, where he sees that she's being eaten, but she's still alive. Sorta. Susan decides to take Rebecca and leave, but John's figured it out, and he grabs a shovel and he's starting to run around the castle when the cops show up, and he breaks the tomb. The cops stumble across the body of Agnes and the prostitute, so they arrest John. A couple cops are going to stay behind that night, but one of them doesn't fare well. At the police station, John's answering all their questions, but they don't believe him. And back at the castle, one cop's looking for the other cop, but he doesn't see him.
We're gonna get through this, sweetie.
Susan explains to Rebecca that she thinks John is guilty, and then she goes looking for the cops and gets knocked out, and then the rain machine starts going. It's time to conclude this. John's at the police station getting abused for telling the truth.
And you will answer questions until we are satisfied with your answers. Now, tell me again, why did you kill Silvana?
I didn't kill her. I fucked her, okay?
Well, that kind of works to his advantage, as the cop that's been abusing him gets taken out of the room, so John can escape out the window. Bex has been talking to her mom, but it's been Giorgio the whole time, and he chains her up. He's kind of sympathetic to her once he realizes that she's blind, but by my math he's 40, so this is still kind of creepy. Mom shows up and she offers herself to Giorgio so that, he won't sleep with her daughter. But then she stabs him and they run away. Giorgio is a good jumper, and he continues to chase. He also finds his mom barbed whip, and there's a lot of scrotum shots I didn't need to see. They get to the roof where John shows up, and he battles Giorgio in the rain. He makes a mistake by not finishing him, and Giorgio gets up and beats the shit out of him. So John has to make the ultimate sacrifice when Giorgio makes the same mistake John did by not finishing John. Then there's a funeral, and everyone is sad for their loss, and John is redeemed. Too bad he had to die for it. The end. This was Jessica Dollarhide's last filming. I can see why. She would have been just out of high school. Having some weird guy do all this creepy shit to her probably gave her a negative feeling towards the film industry. This movie's definitely fallen into the same category as From Beyond and Re-Animator. It's a cult classic to a lot of people. Didn't really work for me though. I mean, even the producers are just like, hey, we want you to make us a film that has a castle and a freak. That's all you need to do. To me, that's all it really had. It was very basic, and they only showed like a few rooms in the castle. You have a whole castle. I get you probably can't use the whole castle, but still, castles are sweet.
Forgive me.
I'm sorry. John, I love you.
Jeffrey Combs was solid in this. I mean, he was a tortured soul trying to redeem himself for his past mistakes, and he inherits his castle out of luck. Too bad it came with a castle freak, and his wife was very vindictive and wanted him to die. Well, you got your wish, Susan. Got your wish. In the end, I'd only recommend this to you if you're looking for a messed up movie. Jeffrey Combs has done a lot of them, and some of them are glorious, and some of them are just plain kind of crazy weird. This is one of those crazy weird ones. Yeah. It's not enough to it for me. Well, as always, thanks for watching.